So same thing here. We're converting radians to degrees. So remember, now this is a tricky one because we're dividing by pi. So we would say 5 radians. And then I have to decide what goes on top and what goes on bottom. Since this is on bottom, what is the ratio? Isn't it 180 degrees to pi radians? So I have to write it this way so I can cancel the radians, right? And so now this is an interesting one. So now I'm going to multiply 5 times 180, which is, what is that, 900 degrees divided by pi? So we say 900 degrees divided by pi. And in this case, because it's degrees, I think it doesn't tell us. With radians, we want to leave it as, this is what we call the exact value. When I divide it by pi, though, it will give me an approximation. I would leave it like this because that's the answer in radians. Or not in radians. We want it in degrees. So we like to leave it as an exact value when it's in radians. But you could, if you wanted to, in this particular case, divide it by pi and get an answer. So if we were to do that, if I said 900 divided by pi, you get this crazy decimal, which is 286.47. So you would say 286. And to be clear, that is an approximation. So do the squiggly lines. Remember, that means approximate value. So having decimals for degrees is a little more acceptable, but for radians, you always leave it as pi. Does that make sense? So it depends. If you see on the test it says the exact value, you leave it like this. It doesn't really say here. But it's a little easier for degrees if you convert it all the way over. To plug it in your calculator. You'll get the same answer. So watch this. This is my answer. So I'm in degree mode right now. So if I say sine and then I plug in the answer, because this decimal goes on forever. If I plug that number in for sine, I'll get this. Or if I plug in 900 divided by pi, because they're essentially the same number, I'll get the same answer. Okay, so it really depends on